These are the cities that built America on wheels, then watched their wheels fall off. This is Akron, Ohio, the rubber capital of the world that went from manufacturing 1/3 of America's rubber products to losing 1/3 of its population, and now it is betting everything on a comeback that could redefine what it means to reinvent a city. In 1960, Akron housed 290,351 people and ranked as the 45th largest city in America. Today, it has tumbled to 137th place with just 190,469 residents. That's not just decline, that's collapse. But here is what makes Akron different from other Rust Belt casualties. They are not trying to recreate their past. They are literally rebuilding it at the molecular level. To understand how radical Akron's transformation really is, you have to go back to when this city pulsed as the beating heart of American industry. In 1825, Akron sprouted at the summit of the Ohio and Erie Canal. Its name comes from the Greek word Akron, meaning summit. But geography did not make Akron famous. Timing, infrastructure, and one revolutionary discovery that happened nowhere near Ohio did that. Charles Goodyear never set foot in Akron, but his 1839 discovery of vulcanized rubber, the process that made rubber durable and useful, would eventually turn this canal town into the most important manufacturing center in America. When the automobile age dawned, Akron had everything the rubber industry needed: excellent rail networks, fresh water, cheap coal, available labor, and crucially, abandoned factories that growing tire companies could quickly occupy. By 1869, B.F. Goodrich had established the first major rubber company in Akron. Goodyear, founded by Frank Seiberling, followed in 1898, Firestone in 1900, and General Tire in 1915. This was not just business expansion, it was industrial conquest. During the 1910s, Akron became the fastest growing city in the entire country. People flooded in from Appalachia so rapidly that West Virginians joked their state's 3 Rs were reading, writing, and the road up Route 21 to Akron. The scale was staggering. By 1935, 4 companies, Goodyear, Firestone, B.F. Goodrich, and U.S. Rubber, supplied 80% of America's tires. All ranked among the 100 largest companies in the nation, and all but one were headquartered in Akron. In 1950, over 130 companies manufactured rubber in Ohio, employing more than 85,000 workers. They needed about 70,000 people just to run the rubber companies in Akron alone. This wasn't just an industrial boom, it was a complete social ecosystem. The numerous jobs that rubber factories provided for deaf workers led to Akron being nicknamed the Crossroads of the Deaf. The city developed such a unique culture that it spawned innovative labor organizing, including some of America's first sit-down strikes. The inspiration came from a baseball game between union members from different factories. When players disliked an umpire who was not a union member, they sat down on the field rather than play. That simple act of defiance became the model for the historic 1936 Goodyear strike, which ran from February 14th to March 22nd, establishing worker rights that would spread nationwide. Akron wasn't just manufacturing tires, it was manufacturing the future. During World War II, when Japan cut off America's supply of natural rubber from Asia, Akron's companies pivoted to synthetic rubber so quickly and effectively that they kept the entire U.S. war effort rolling. The city that put America on wheels was now keeping America moving through the biggest conflict in human history. But success carried the seeds of its own destruction. The same global forces that made Akron essential eventually made it expendable. By the 1980s, much of the rubber industry had simply vanished. Not moved. Vanished. Global competition, changing technology, and shifting economics conspired to hollow out the city's economic foundation. Steve Millard, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Akron Chamber, puts it this way: the region continues to find ways to reinvent itself, following shifts in industry, population, and other headwinds against our goals of investment and job creation. The numbers tell a brutal story. Akron lost 34.6% of its population between 1960 and 2020. The median household income today is just $38,739. From 2005 to 2015, Akron ranked among the 10 worst metro areas in the nation for black unemployment rates, and among the 5 worst for declining black earnings. The manufacturing sector is expected to shed another 2,000 jobs from 2018 to 2028. Chrissie Hynde, the Akron native who founded the Pretenders, captured the city's decline in her 1982 song, "My City Was Gone." Other Akron musicians like Devo fled to Los Angeles. The Black Keys recorded their 2004 album Rubber Factory in an actual abandoned General Tire factory, turning industrial decay into art. Even LeBron James, Akron's most famous son, had to leave to achieve his dreams, though he never forgot where he came from. This is where most Rust Belt stories end, with nostalgia, resignation, and gradual decline. But Akron decided to write a different ending. Here is what most people do not understand about Akron's reinvention strategy. They are not abandoning their industrial past, they are revolutionizing it. The city that once dominated rubber manufacturing is now positioning itself to lead the next generation of materials science, and they are doing it through something called the polymer industry cluster. Polymers surround us, in your phone, your car, your clothes, your medical devices. They are the building blocks of modern life, and Akron still has something no other city can claim, the deepest concentration of polymer expertise on Earth. The University of Akron houses the world's only college devoted entirely to studying polymers, while Kent State University serves as a key educational partner in the cluster consortium. More than 150 polymer-related manufacturing companies operate in the Akron metropolitan area alone, with over 500 across Northeast Ohio. In October 2023, Akron was designated as one of 31 federal tech hubs under the Biden administration's Economic Development Initiative. In July 2024, they won the jackpot, a $51 million federal investment from the Economic Development Administration as part of the Tech Hub Phase 2 awards. Only 12 regions in the entire country received this level of funding. But here is what makes this different from typical economic development. They are not just trying to attract businesses, they are trying to create new industries. Hans Dorphy, executive director of the Polymer Industry Cluster, explains their ambitious goal. By 2031, the Polymer Industry Cluster expects to create 2,400 new jobs and generate $75 million in new research funding. Their 10-year vision is even bolder. 4,000 direct jobs created or retained, over $1 billion in private investment catalyzed, and 3.9 million tons of carbon dioxide reduction annually through sustainable polymer technologies. The centerpiece of this transformation is something called the Innovation Pilot Facility, which will be built adjacent to the National Polymer Innovation Center on the University of Akron campus. This isn't just another research lab. It's designed to bridge the gap between laboratory discoveries and commercial production. Small businesses and established companies will be able to test and scale advanced polymer technologies in a single location, with support from the Bounce Innovation Hub, which operates the Synth6 Materials Accelerator program. Following site preparation, construction is tentatively scheduled to begin in the second quarter of 2026. The Polymer Industry Cluster has already funded 13 innovation projects, with $6 million in Innovation Hub funding, supported by $2 million in local matches allocated over the next 4 years. What's remarkable is how this strategy builds on Akron's existing strengths while completely reimagining its future. Julie Brandl, board chair of the Greater Akron Chamber, captures this perfectly. We've been intentional about being on the brink of great things, almost there. But this year, it's about asserting that we've delivered on concepts and ideas and turned them into great opportunities. Something like the Polymer Industry Cluster was just an idea several years ago. Now look at where we are. The reinvention isn't just economic, it's social and cultural. LeBron James has become the face of Akron's comeback through his LeBron James Family Foundation. The I Promise School, which opened in 2018, serves at-risk students with wraparound services for entire families. I Promise Village provides transitional housing. The I Promise housing complex, developed with the East Akron Neighborhood Development Corporation, creates affordable housing for 50 families. James's newest venture, House 330, opened in 2023 as a retail and community space designed to create economic opportunities for local residents. The facility has already created 45 jobs specifically for parents of I Promise school students, their family members, teachers, and volunteers. As James explains, in everything we do as a foundation, it's all about making our kids, parents, and people across the community believe there can be more in their lives than they ever dreamed possible. Mayor Shamus Malik, who was sworn in as Akron's 63rd mayor on January 1st, 2024, has launched the Together for Akron initiative, built around 4 pillars: safer together, working together, living together, and growing together. His 2024 capital budget emphasizes $365.7 million in new investment in water and sewer infrastructure, parks, public safety, and neighborhoods across Summit County. The city is also tackling its physical legacy directly. They have demolished 88 blighted properties as of May 2025, with plans to demolish another 50 to 100 structures. Summit County received a $1.2 million EPA Brownfield Assessment Coalition Award that will benefit multiple areas of Akron, including the Romig Road Corridor, Akron Airport area, and Summit Lake region. Historic landmarks like the Akron Air Dock, one of the world's largest buildings without interior supports, stand as symbols of the city's engineering heritage, while new facilities rise around them. But transformation doesn't come without controversy. The rubber industry left behind a toxic legacy, literally. Many former workers were exposed to cancerous chemicals like asbestos. A multi-million-dollar settlement in 2012 involved thousands of workers, and families throughout the region still deal with health consequences from decades of industrial exposure. There's also debate about why the rubber industry left in the first place. Some blame the unions for refusing to allow companies to tear down outdated Akron plants and rebuild with modern workflows. Others point to broader economic forces, globalization, changing technology, and the simple math that newer facilities in the South offered better economics. As one analysis put it, the rubber companies had the opportunity to ditch these dated plants and take the whole shebang down south and get what they wanted. The demographic shifts tell their own story. White flight. During the economic decline left Akron with a population that's almost 30% black, while many higher-income residents moved to wealthier parts of the region or country. The city that once attracted people from across Appalachia now struggles with population loss, though the 2025 projected population of 190,187 suggests the decline may be stabilizing. Even Goodyear, the last major tire company still headquartered in Akron, continues to face pressure. The company recently relocated 175 jobs to Costa Rica, resulting in layoffs at its Akron headquarters. Still, more than 2,500 of Goodyear's approximately 71,000 global employees work in Akron, and the company operates 2 major innovation centers, one in Akron and another in Luxembourg. Representative Amelia Sykes, who represents Ohio's 13th congressional district, which includes Akron, frames the transformation in historical terms. She says, "This investment will ensure Northeast Ohio remains a global leader and trailblazer in polymer science and polymer engineering, reaffirming our district's legacy as the rubber capital of the world. From sustainable tires to cutting-edge polymers, the next generation of rubber and plastics production will proudly be made here in Ohio's 13th congressional district." That phrase, the next generation, captures something essential about Akron's strategy. They are not trying to recreate the 1950s. They are not trying to be something they never were. Instead, they are taking their deepest expertise and pushing it into the future. Consider this. Akron once made the materials that put America on wheels. Now they are working on materials that could help save the planet. The sustainable polymers being developed through the Tech Hub initiative could revolutionize everything from biodegradable plastics to advanced materials for renewable energy systems. The early success metrics are encouraging. In September 2024, the Polymer Industry Cluster became Ohio's 3rd Innovation Hub awardee, securing $31.25 million with an additional $10.4 million matched by local partners. The University of Akron received $7.1 million from the Tech Hub grant to support initiatives advancing sustainable polymer technologies. But the most telling indicator of Akron's transformation is this. Stephen Curry was born in the same hospital as LeBron James, Summit Akron City Hospital, while his father Del Curry was playing for Cleveland. Two NBA superstars, born in the same place, representing different eras of what's possible in Northeast Ohio. What makes Akron's story remarkable is not that they are attempting reinvention. Lots of cities try that. What's remarkable is how they are doing it, by building on their actual strengths instead of chasing trendy industries, by thinking in terms of decades instead of election cycles, and by recognizing that true transformation requires both honoring the past and fearlessly embracing the future. The city that put America on wheels is now working to build the materials that could power the next century of innovation. They've gone from making tires to making breakthroughs, from being the rubber capital of the world to positioning themselves as the polymer capital of the future. Whether this bet pays off remains to be seen, but after watching their city lose 1/3 of its population and most of its defining industry, the people of Akron have learned something that many other places haven't, that the choice isn't between staying the same or disappearing. Sometimes the only way forward is to completely reimagine what you can become. In Akron, they are not just reinventing their economy, they are proving that American cities can reinvent themselves, not by abandoning their industrial heritage, but by revolutionizing it. The Summit City is climbing again, one polymer at a time.